Here's a peek at what guests had to say after the show.
Okay, we are back on the internet. Marc Maron, how many cats is too many cats? I know they're asking that because you have many cats.
Yeah, I got a cat on the cover of my book.
You love cats.
Well, I love my cats. I'm a my cat guy. I don't give a fuck about your cat. But
I don't have a cat. Now,
no, I mean, in general.
It's often lesbians who have many cats.
Well, are you a lesbian? I'm not going to deny or confirm that, but too many. I think when you have too many cats is when someone comes over to your house and within 3 seconds goes, Jesus, did a giant cat piss on your house?
How many cats do you have?
I have two. One is...
two, come on.
Well, one's on hiatus or eaten by coyotes. It's not clear to me.
Really? Oh.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
They run away, don't they?
Well, no, he didn't run away. He got taken, I think, or else he's living with a kind lady who's giving him nicer food. And if that's the case, I'm glad he's still alive. And if I find that woman, I'm taking my fucking cat back. I have two in the house. There's a couple of strays outside that I feed and some that come and go.
It is a terrible Hobson's choice, isn't it? Because if you keep the cats inside, that's a kind of a cruel fate. That's worse than Gitmo.
No, they like it. They're all right.
Just to be inside all the time?
No, they get used to it. They like it. He had to go outside because he peed on everything, and it was a tough choice to make. But one day you wake up and you go, holy shit, on me? He peed on me? And then you got to make a decision.
But I mean, I think they're happier when they can roam around outside, but it's more dangerous.
Exactly.
It's like being single versus being married.
Yes, when you're single, you could always get eaten by wild animals.
You certainly can, if you're lucky.
Yes.
Now, okay, at what age, I guess this is for everybody, at what age would you be comfortable with your child handling a gun? Well, we are childless.
Yeah, I am.
I've got a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old, so neither of them. But I would say,
well,
let me start there, Bill.
Really going out on a limb there, aren't you? I mean, you're going to piss off the NRA if they hear that. I mean, guns out of the hands of 3-year-olds? Are you sure?
If you own a firearm, you'd better make sure your child knows how to handle it safely or understands why it's dangerous.
What age should you start them?
Well, when they're able to understand.
Firearm, you should have it locked up,
Sure,
so
absolutely.
that your child can't ever get at it under any circumstance.
No, that's part of it too. Absolutely,
Yes.
Lawrence. But what if they're at a friend's house or something like that? I mean, they should understand and know
Well, let me hear this.
how to handle
when
it.
they're at a friend's house,
What? I don't know.
Your gun's at home, and when they're at a friend's house,
What if they're at a friend's house
where
where they're not
use
locked
the gun
up?
there?
No, what if their friend's parents' guns?
Yeah.
are
Oh, here's what
locked
you do
up?
with
That's
that. You don't play with those kids, with the unlocked guns in the house.
You don't always know.
Let me ask, you have guns unlocked?
You don't always know. I mean, you make a play date with somebody.
Santa Monica. I have found that the
But I mean,
parents in Santa Monica, they
before
don't
you
have their guns lying around.
Pretty safe bet when you're sending your kid in Santa Monica.
But you think that's something you should ask another parent? Like, my little boy's coming over to play with yours. Do you have any guns lying around?
If you're in
I
a gun
guess
nut community, yeah, you
reasonable.
better. Yeah.
Right, it's
Right.
reasonable. They'd probably
That's
make them
his-
go, what?
Yeah. No, if you live in Cumberland County, Kentucky now, that should be your first question, because that's where the 5-year-old shot the 2-year-old.
Right, okay. Mattie, in your opinion, should girls have unrestricted access to Plan B? That's the birth control, the over-the-counter birth control, right? Plan B, isn't that what they call it? Isn't that RU486? Yes, I am. Or should there be an age limit? Well, this was in the news this week because the FDA said no, it should be available for 15 and older without any sort of parental permission.
We have our president who is talking to Planned Parenthood one day and then decides to appeal its decision, the next?
I didn't understand that either.
I mean, that's a very difficult
Right.
situation for people who, for them is a voting issue. For me, it's not. So I don't really have an opinion that
Really?
I think is... I mean, I'm not a scientist. I know that that's kind of the Obama administration's
I think if 5-year-olds can have guns, 15-year-olds can have birth control.
There's a sliding scale here on guns and birth control.
Yeah, I think it's...
But I know the Obama administration's position is that there's scientific evidence for at what age it makes sense to give unlimited, not have limit to this kind of drug. I'm not sure that I buy it, but I'm not sure that I really care either. So.
Okay. Well, that's
We should try to arm the fetuses so that they can defend themselves. I mean, let's keep going down the line.
At least get them comfortable with firearms.
Let's make sure that the fetus is comfortable with a shotgun.
Pete, aside from new leadership at the VA, what is the most important step in creating an efficient system for veterans to apply for benefits? Because that's been in the news a lot.
Well, it has, and our organization was the first to come out and say that Secretary Shinseki should step down. Honorable man, he's been there for 4.5 years.
Really?
Hasn't gotten the job done.
You put it on him.
Well, it's not just on him. It's on a calcified bureaucracy that treats every vet like a number and tells you to wait in line for 2 years if you live in LA. And we should do better than that. We can do better than that. And you know what? There are a lot of private sector companies that have figured these kind of processes out a lot quicker. So why don't we learn something from them so we can actually deliver services to veterans?
Because there's money involved. This is the United States of money. Of course, when money is involved, they can do it. They can't count the votes accurately either, but banks never make a mistake.
But there's very little incentive.
Somehow they never go, you know what, it's about 10,000 either way.
There's no incentive.
If it's in your favor, we're good. We don't care. We don't, you know.
But there's no incentive for the VA to fix it. I mean, the backlog's up 200%, while their funding keeps it go up too.
2,000% over the last 4 years, the backlog for VA, but their budget has gone up 40%. I mean, that's an abject failure. Someone should be held for account for it, and we should create incentives for workers who are good-natured and want to do good by vets to do even better, because we can.
So just so I get this straight, I did just hear you say there is a federal budget item that should be increased.
Not if it's going to continue to fail.
No, but
okay. I mean, there's ways.
We've
thrown more money at it.
Let's leave it failing the way it is.
No.
No, the point is
my point
putting more money into it.
If it's not going to continue to fail, let's spend
it's a process problem, not a money
lot more
problem.
money.
It's a process
Double,
problem, not a
triple,
money problem. No, I'm not asking for a dime more.
No, you just did.
No, I'm not asking for any more money
we
at
have to
VA.
roll back the tape.
No, it's processes. It's accountability. I would like to roll back the tape. You don't need a dime more.
And honestly, sometimes throwing more money at a problem doesn't fix it. Sometimes that's been the problem.
There's lack of accountability, awash in money, no reason or incentive to change processes that are failing.
You think the VA is underfunded? Is that the problem?
I don't know. I don't have a view of this, but you know, if the backlog.
No one has a view on this aftermath. He doesn't care about
Mark
this.
Thinks I know everything.
I think you know everything.
You don't care what happened to your cat?
I'm not
As soon as we go to
cat's
overtime, everyone just
I
fucking
do.
punts.
Yeah.
What is this?
What their funding level should be. But I will make you this guarantee. If you cut their funding level, your backlog is going to go up even more.
Well, we're not talking about cutting it, but at
Yes,
some
we are.
point-
It's called sequester.
No,
Well.
no, VA's been exempted
VA's
from
exempted.
sequester loans. So they've gotten all the money they need, they want.
You know, I'm starting to feel I don't know anything. Never mind this, everything.
Okay. Mattie, would you have accepted the $10 in spending cuts for every dollar in tax increases that Obama proposed? That was a big issue. No.
No.
So you would have been one of those who raised his hand at the Republican debates and said, nope.
Yes, because here's the problem with that deal. It doesn't actually exist. This is the unicorn that Democrats keep saying is such a great deal. Why don't Republicans just take it? We've had 2 examples of when this has actually been tried and has failed. Both President Reagan and the first President Bush made these deals with Democrats. They said, I will give you $1 in tax hikes for every $2 in spending cuts. Or for Reagan, I think it was $3 in spending cuts. And what happened was these tax hikes were always real. The spending restraint never materializes, because as long as you put another dollar on the table, the government's going to want to spend it. So you don't get any restraint as long as they can continue to get money. It's the same thing that we're just talking about with the VA. There's no incentive to have any kind of change in the status quo if you're going to keep throwing money at it. It's the same thing with these budget deals.
Do we have time for the truth?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. Forget these deals that you're talking about. Let's talk about the deal that the Democrats did with the Democrats, with not one Republican vote, 1993, and it was 1-to-1. It was a deficit reduction bill that was the same amount of tax increase to the same amount of spending cuts, okay? 1-to-1. The tax increases went into effect, and all of the spending cuts went into effect, most of them in Medicare, by the way. The first thing Bill Clinton, and the only thing Bill Clinton did with Medicare, was cut it in his first year. And those were all real cuts, and that is how we got the deficit down, with additional cuts that Newt Gingrich forced on Clinton years later, got it down to the point where we actually had projected surpluses handed over to George W. Bush, which he threw away. So this is a lie that Republicans will never stop telling, that we only do the tax increases and we never do the budget cuts. And it's a lie about Newt Gingrich, who actually did do the budget cuts. So it does happen.
So, but how much do we know about these so-called facts?
Or so-called
Thank you very much. We have to go. I appreciate you all.
Real Time with Bill Maher, Friday night at 10. Ask Bill and his guests your questions right after the show at HBO.com.